President Jackson, Provost, faculty, trustees, I am overwhelmed to receive this extraordinary honor from Rensselaer. And new graduates of Rensselaer, congratulations to you. You have much to be proud of. You are smart. You were admitted to and now are graduating from the oldest technological university in the United States, a university that has become, under the leadership of your amazing president, Shirley Ann Jackson, the next wave of the new. You are tough. You have survived 2 or 4 or 6 or more of the legendary winters in Troy, New York. You are ready to lead professional lives that respond to the Rensselaer motto, why not change the world? And you are needed because there is much about the world that needs to be changed. Challenges abound, whether at the local or the regional or the national or the global level. You know what those challenges are. Among them, tens of millions of people in this country and more than 1 billion worldwide remain desperately poor. And population growth is highest where the people are the poorest and the capacity to care for the additional people is most lacking. Africa, the poorest continent, is projected to double its population by 2050. The added 1.3 billion people will account for over half of the world's population growth between now and then. Migrants seeking a better life and refugees fleeing persecution, conflict, and environmental impoverishment now total more than 16 million people per year, overwhelming the ability or the willingness of host countries to receive them. Projections suggest that the cumulative total of climate change refugees alone could amount to 150 to 250 million by 2050. Global climate change is already causing significant harm to life, health, property, economies, and ecosystems in countries both rich and poor. Climate change, plus the growing burden of toxic substances added to the environment by industry and agriculture, has plunged the world into what has been called the 6th great extinction since the dawn of time. A rate of species loss now estimated at 1,000 times the baseline pre-human rate. That already enormous loss rate seems likely to grow. And the impact of these species losses on the ecosystem processes that support fisheries, agriculture, forestry, and human health are expected to be severe. Information and communications technologies, which have brought immense benefits to society in connectivity, access to information, and automated management of systems ranging from household lights and locks to national electricity grids, are also now seen to have imposed significant risks of centralized surveillance, invasion of privacy, cyber attack, and the propagation of misinformation. What all of these challenges, and most of the others we face, have in common is the relevance of natural science, social science, and engineering to understanding the nature of the problems in all their complexity and to identifying and implementing remedies. And I would be remiss as a career-long builder of interdisciplinary educational and policy organizations if I did not mention the importance of the interdisciplinary interplay of natural science, social science, engineering, and indeed the humanities and the arts in understanding and addressing the great challenges of our time. The world surely needs more specialists in physics, biology, computer science, electrical and chemical engineering, economics, political science, psychology, history, communication, and more. But it also needs more specialists in integration, in putting disciplinary pieces together in ways that make a whole greater than the sum of the parts. Your graduating class at Rensselaer contains both disciplinary specialists and integrators across the disciplines, and the world will be the better for it. Whatever the focus of your work, disciplinary or interdisciplinary, and however exciting and all-consuming that work may be, I hope that each and every one of you will take some time to think and speak about the connections of your work to the larger science, technology, and society issues and challenges to which your focus is germane. That you tithe, as it were, some fraction of your time and effort to engaging with those larger issues and challenges. Your focus in such tithing could be on communicating the ways in which advances in science and technology can make a better world. For example, by providing economic prosperity in environmentally sustainable ways where such prosperity does not yet exist, and making it sustainable everywhere else. You could focus on the crafting of appropriate combinations of self-regulation and government regulation to minimize social and environmental harm from applications of science and technology, while at the same time taking care not to stifle innovation. You could focus on the need for increased public, private, and philanthropic funding for fundamental research as the seed corn from which future practical approaches for dealing with society's challenges will grow. You could focus on the importance of strengthening science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, STEM education, especially preschool and K through 12, but also in our colleges and universities and beyond through lifelong learning, to include engaging and supporting more young women and girls in STEM, along with minorities historically underrepresented in these fields. As President Obama often said, we cannot win the game if half the team is on the bench. The form of your effort to advance these larger issues at the intersection of science and engineering with society could be writing and blogging about them, could be volunteering in local schools, taking part in the work of the National Academies of Science and Engineering and Medicine and other science and engineering professional societies. It could be engaging with other civil society organizations focused on science and engineering for human well-being. It could be working with and testifying before committees of state legislatures and the Congress. It could be taking some time away from your primary professional pursuit to do a stint in a local, state, or federal agency, or in a legislative staff position, advising on science and technology. For some of you, it might include finding longer-term employment where your primary activity is working at the intersection of science and technology with public policy, even running for public office. That too could change the world. Clearly, this range of activities entails different levels of commitment to working on the societal dimensions of science and technology. But I hope that each of you will consider, at a minimum, making yourself an emissary to family and friends on the relevance of science and technology to the biggest issues affecting human well-being. On the positive note, let me close by offering my congratulations again to the graduates and adding my congratulations to their teachers, mentors, and families. Perhaps most of all, the families who have supported the graduates and suffered with them through the trials of completing a university degree, and who are surely ready to see the graduates start making a living as well as making a difference. Thank you all.